Hey, family. MarshaunO here, your favorite relationship strategist. Come on in. Let me know what city, state, or country you are watching this from, and let me go ahead and share this really quickly, okay? But come on in here and let me know what city, state, or country you are watching this from, because I surely would just like to know. And then also let me know what your weather is like. The weather right now is playing games right here in San Diego, for sure, playing games. And so before I get started, I want to invite you to pick up your free resource from my relationship resource library, where I have topics in there that talk about ways to create intimacy, how to deal with the relationship disappointment, because sometimes we get disappointed, ways to improve your relationship, keys to creating an extraordinary relationship. So go ahead, click the link up above and receive your free relationship resource library so you can add this to your relationship toolkit and pull it out whenever you need to pull it out in order to become a better partner, a better spouse. All right, so now we're going to talk about seven reasonable expectations for my singles, because I know I've been talking a lot to people that are in relationships, and my singles want some information just as well. So I want to make sure that I come here today, give you some information about the reasonable expectations that you should be looking out for while you are dating. So the first thing that I want to mention is to make sure that you have standards. Yes, make sure that you have some standards while you are out there dating. And honestly, this is before you start dating. Have some standards so you absolutely have an idea of where you want your relationship to go, or the potential relationship to go, right? You don't want to just go in and just be doing things, just be there just because, right? You want to actually have your standards and make sure that they are good standards, right? You don't want them to just be things that are off the top, or even kind of what we deem to be a little bit crazy, right? So having great or good standards for sure is the first thing to make sure that your expectations are reasonable. The second thing is literally you want to pay attention to your commonalities as well as your differences. So the reason why you want to do this is because, of course, you want to have some things in common with your future spouse, with your partner. Absolutely. But then also, you do not want to lose yourself while you're in your relationship. And literally with me coaching women, I hear this all the time, where they are finding themselves losing themselves while they are now in their relationship. And years later, they're trying to figure out who they are. This happens when we just get into our relationships, right? Because we're so enamored by the person that we're in a relationship with, and we get caught up into their entire world, becoming a part of their world and everything. And then also we do this after we have children as well. And then we make our entire existence, our entire lives about the child or about the children now. And so I want to make sure that you continue to be an individual while you are in your relationship as well. So yes, you want to focus on things that you have in common, right? Try to go down the list, because you want to have some things that you guys like to do together so you can continue to build the connection, continue to build the relationship, and then also continue to know things about your spouse that you don't necessarily talk about on a daily basis. It might come up in just casual conversation. It might come up when you guys are discussing an article or a book. It might come up when you guys are discussing a movie. It might come up when you're discussing some other people's relationship and some of the things that they are going through. So absolutely want to find things in common that you like to do with your spouse. But again, you want to be able to make sure that you also are taking care of yourself and continue to do the things that you like to do by yourself, especially if your spouse is no longer interested or never has been interested. So that could be something like maybe you like to play an instrument, right? And your spouse is not interested in that. Make sure that you continue to play that instrument, because what you don't realize is the things that you like to do also make up who you are as an individual, as the person that's also able to bring something different to the relationship overall. So that's the second thing, is your commonalities as well as your differences. The third thing is watching out for the character, which this is revealed over time based off of how he's treating you, based off of how he's treating other people, the things that he's saying about other people, right? So is this person a nice person, right? Is he a kind person? Is he a chivalrous person? I'm saying he, but this is definitely for the men to watch out for, the ladies as well. And then also their personality traits. And these are the things that we can see that are visible, such as, is this person an outgoing person, or is this person more shy, right? So the visible things that you can see, as well as the things that you found out over time. Again, these are personality and characteristics that you can either see today and find out later on as well. So absolutely pay attention to those things, because you want to have an idea of the type of person that you want to wake up to after you get into the relationship, right? So have an idea of who you actually want to wake up to, and the things that you should be looking out for. And then are there deal breakers, right? So pay attention to all of those things that will come up at some point, and then know what you want to do. Like, what's your next step? Are you going to stay? Are you going to go? Is this something that you can live with? Not. So have an idea, so you're not just going along with somebody else's plan and somebody else's flow, not having any idea of what you yourself are doing. The fourth thing is really to make time to fit the other person into your life, because all of us have busy lives. All of us have busy lives, and we make time for the people and the things that we truly want to do. So if you really want to spend time with someone, you will make time for that person, right? And you will fit them into your busy schedule until they become an integral part of your schedule and of your life, right? So if you really want to be with this woman, if you really want to be with this man, you will find time to make them a priority, so you guys can start to get to know one another. And if you never make time for the person, then you're never going to get to know him or her. You're never going to find out if this is the one, right? So we have to slow down, and we have to make sure that we're making time for ourselves, right? So we can also integrate this into our lives, meaning the relationship, but also the person, right? So we're not dealing in fantasy land. We're actually living in the reality of what relationships are, and how we are deciding how to create it. So making time for one another to fit each other into your schedule is going to be a big thing for sure. About your expectations and making sure that they are reasonable. No, we're not going to be able to give each other 100% of our time all the time. That's just an unreasonable expectation. It's not going to happen. Not all the time. It's just not going to happen. Like, something about life is going to get in the way, and you're not going to be able to put in all of that 100% time that maybe you did in the beginning, and it's at some point it's going to fall off, just because other priorities are going to take the place, right? So making time to fit your other person in your life. Number 5 is challenges. Please understand that challenges are normal. The arguments are normal, right? You don't want it to be every single day. You don't want to be an all-day thing, but just know that there are absolutely going to be challenges to come into your relationship, and they are normal. This could be, seen as surprises, right? So maybe you guys have plans to go out on a date, and again, just rock with me. I know that COVID is right now, right? But maybe you had plans to go out on a night on the town, and then maybe you couldn't find the babysitter, or the babysitter cancel, right? So there are going to be challenges that come up, and I know that that's a simple example, but it could be something very complex. It could be something very simple, but just understand that challenges are going to come up. This also includes where you two are not going to agree all the time as well. And that's fine. That's totally fine, because you are two individuals trying to come together as one person. And that can be a very challenging thing to do, especially if you don't know what you're doing, or especially if you don't know that this is a part of the process, the getting to know process, the allowing your guards to come down and allowing the other person to come into your world fully, because most of us are so used to doing everything by ourselves all the time that we're not making room for the other person to come in and actually be a part of the relationship with us, right? So challenges are normal. They're totally normal. Know that they're normal. Know that it's okay when it happens. You two just have to figure out how to resolve the conflicts in a healthy manner. right? Not sweeping these things under the rug, right? Not sweeping these things under the rug. You have to know that this is something that is going to occur, and then be man enough to address it, right? Because sweeping anything under the rug is not something that is going to help the relationship in the long run. It is going to harm the relationship in the long run. You two are going to feel super distant from one another. So you must address the things that are occurring, having those difficult conversations. I literally was having a conversation with a young man yesterday, and he was asking for some relationship advice. And I was basically telling him that, you know, he was trying to figure out if he honestly should get married to the woman who he is engaged to. And the wedding date is literally on the 20th of this month. And he knows deep down in his heart, deep down in his gut, he should not say I do. But because he doesn't want to disappoint, and also because the date is so close and he knows that he should have walked away long ago, he didn't do it. And so now he's trying to figure out how to, like, which way should he go about the situation. And some of it is because they're having the challenges in the relationship, and he definitely mentioned that they have been sweeping things under the rug for as long as he can remember. But now he's realizing how unhealthy their relationship actually is. And so he just wanted some advice to see if he was moving in the right direction, which is his gut is telling him to walk away today, or at least push the wedding date back. And now he's trying to figure out which way he should actually go. And so challenges are going to come, but anytime you decide that on a conscious level, because sometimes we're not conscious that we're doing these things, but on a conscious level, if we start to push these tough conversations, the difficult conversations, continuously push these things under the rug and not address them, then absolutely at some point, one or both of you are going to wake up and see how distant you two are, how much of a non-relationship you are actually in, why there's so much distance between you two. And maybe you're even living two separate lives. Just because you live in the same household does not mean that you two are going down the same path. You both might be doing your own thing, living your own life. Just because you live in the same household does not mean that you two are on one accord. So challenges are going to come. It's all about how you decide to resolve the conflicts when you get into your relationship. Number 6 is to move beyond only having text conversations. This is a reasonable expectation, because in the date and time right now, a lot of people like to just text. And if you want to build something solid, you have to move beyond text messages and either get on the phone as well as face-to-face conversation, face-to-face interaction, because the more that you two just text, there are going to be a lot of conversations that you can run away from, right? And then a lot of things can be taken out of context as well. So if you're just making like the time that you're going to meet or the place that you're going to meet at, okay, great. If the conversations are short, great. But if it's something that you know that you need to have a really in-depth conversation where you need to see their face so things are not taken out of context, then you need to move beyond the text conversations. So wanting to talk to someone on the phone is a healthy expectation for sure. Getting away from just the electronics is something that is a reasonable expectation for sure. If you're trying to build a real connection with someone, then you have to find the time to meet with them in person so you can see if you really want to continue on with this relationship or not. So remember, you can text, but that should not be your main means of contact. You should not only be texting the person, right? And never meeting in person, never doing video chat, none of that stuff, right? Because that is where you are giving this person the emotional attention, the emotional support that they may need, even rubbing on their ego to say, yeah, I can talk to this person, right? However, if they're not reciprocating, if they're not allowing you to talk on the phone, to video chat, to meet face to face, then what are you really doing? What are the two of you really doing? You're just holding space, but you're not creating any real connection with them, right? You're there for their moment, for their emotional support in the moment, but you're not really there for them to say that they can call you or you can call them when you're in need, right? You're just somebody for the moment. So in order to build anything, you must move away from the text conversations, especially if you want to build something deep. Now, the seventh and final communication way to build reasonable expectations, is to communicate your needs, your wants, your desires, and your goals. And this can be your needs, wants, desires, goals for the relationship. This can be the needs, wants, and desires that you are looking toward, like the next year, the next 3 years, the next 5 years, like all of the plans that you have in your head so you can see. And then obviously you guys want to ping pong back and forth so you can see if the way that you want to live your life absolutely matches up to the way he or she wants to live their life as well. So you can see how compatible you are to this person. Are you thinking about the same things, such as, do I still want to remain living in the city that I am currently living in, where we two met? Or is this person, like, he could be military or she could be military, right? So they're going to be a person that's going to travel around. Or is this person, wants to literally travel all the time and live in this country for a few years, live in that country for a few years, live in that country for a few years? Or do they want to actually live out on the farm and have this really big yard, right? And then start to farm on the land so they can live off the land and then sell the produce to, the community or to a bigger city, right? So you guys need to have these conversations. So communicate the needs, your wants, your desires, and your goals as much as you know currently today, right? Because our needs, desires, goals, they can change over time. So based off of the information that you have today, right? That's what you want to communicate as much as possible. So these are the 7 reasonable expectations that you should be expecting to have conversations with your potential spouse to see how much you guys have in common, if this is somebody that you want to build a relationship with, so you can decide if you want to say yes, okay, this person seems viable, or no, right? So you can make a healthy, informed decision about the person, about the way that you're feeling, right? And everything that comes along with it. So finally, I'm going to wrap it up, especially if you are watching this and you're coming in. Please understand that I have a free relationship resource guide for you. It is really a collection of things for you to go into your relationship toolbox and pull them out, such as ways to create intimacy within your relationship, right? I have a sheet in there that talks about the keys to creating an extraordinary relationship. I also have a checklist in there because sometimes we need to have checklists just to make sure that our relationships are still being well oiled. And then ways to improve your relationship. And then even ways to deal with relationship disappointment. So all of that is within the free resource. Click the link up above the video. Join in, right? Get your free resource today, so you can also start to add this to your relationship toolbox, whether you're in a relationship today or not, because you want to have these resources. Actually, you want to have them prior to, right? Prior to you getting into a relationship. I am MarshaunO, and I help Christian women that are married or in long-term relationships to stop feeling disconnected and unloved and shift you to feeling heard, understood, and appreciated. I love you guys. There is nothing that you can do about it. So I will see you very, very soon. Bye.